and it's all about zooming and panning. So if you've downloaded the drawings we've made to accompany this video, then open up drawing number 5, zoom and pan, and you can work alongside me. So this is all about zooming and panning around the drawing so that you can get the most out of your drawing experience. So if you're ready, let's have a look at your mouse first. The center wheel in the middle of your mouse button is zoom. So if you want to scroll the center wheel, you can zoom in and zoom out of your drawing very easily. Okay, have a go at that. And then when you're ready, the same button is also a hold down button. So you can click with this button and hold it down. So the middle button becomes pan, and you can see that by the little hand that appears on screen when you hold down the middle button. And that means that you can then pan your drawing side to side and up and down. Now, you can do both of those operations together if you practice, so you can scroll and hold down the button at the same time, which is a pretty cool trick, and that means that you can get around your drawing really easily. Now, depending on where you are, okay, just get yourself into a nice place. There you go. And depending on where you point with your mouse, that will affect where you zoom in. Can you see? I'm pointing towards the word sheet, and then I'm moving away. And then I can choose somewhere else. I point at these machine heads and zoom in, and then zoom away. So where you're pointing controls where you zoom into and where you zoom away from. Okay, have a practice with that. Okay, we're going to practice the pan command a bit more. Okay, so hold down your middle button and pull it over to one side, and then we're going to scroll away, hold down the middle button and pull it to the other side. So you can see that all of these operations are very fluid, and when you need to get around your drawing, you need to be really fluid with your mouse. So being able to click straight into pan is brilliant. Now, if you've got the same interface as me, this is version 19, you'll see we've got a little button bar at the side here as well. So you can see that we've got pan as a command here, so you can left click that command and that then becomes pan also. So that's a different way of getting into your pan command. And if you have a look at the same little floating button bar here, you've also got zoom extents. Okay, so if you click onto that button, that's the same as typing in zoom extents. So zoom and pan on the mouse can be considered to be invisible commands. In other words, you can actually be doing something else in AutoCAD, like copy or move, for instance, and you can use your mouse to use your zoom and pan. So for instance, you might be selecting something over here to copy it over to here, and therefore you need to have zoom and pan operating in the middle of your copy or move command. And that's fantastic because whilst it's invisible, that means you're using it without interrupting your copy or your move command. And this will just become instinctive after a little while. So just practice it a bit more so that you feel that the zooming and panning is no big deal. Now let's just zoom away from your drawing, so just a little bit, so that your drawing is around about the size of a postage stamp. Now this time we're going to use the mouse to zoom extents with a double click on the middle button. Okay, so let's try that. So that's a double click on the middle button, and that is the same as the zoom extents option that we looked at over here. So zoom extents is let me see the whole drawing. And that's something that we do all of the time. When you're working away and you're doing some details and you finish doing the details and you think to yourself, okay, now I want to see what I've done and what I've still got left to do, you can double click your middle button. Okay, and that's zoom extents. Now we can also use the zoom command at the command line, so the command line down here if you remember, and all we need to do is to type the command in at the keyboard, ZOOM. Okay, so if you just type in ZOOM like that and press enter, then you'll see that whilst you're speaking to AutoCAD, the command line speaks back to you. Have a look down here to see what it says, and the command line says, yep, you can zoom. These are your options, all center dynamic extents. You can read them yourself across there, all the way across to real time. So you can see that you've got a number of options. So we're going to type in P for previous and then press enter, and we go to the previous zoom, whatever that was. And you can also type in zoom, ZOOM, enter, and E for extents, enter, and that's zoom extents. Now we can shortcut all of those commands, so we can do zoom previous just simply by typing in Z, enter, P, enter. So let's do that. Z, enter, P, enter. So that's zoom previous. And we can shortcut zoom extents as well by typing in Z, enter, E, enter. So you can see that the keyboard is extremely efficient in giving you those zoom commands. Now we've also got a further command that we want to look at, and that's called zoom window. Now zoom window allows you to choose or select an area of the drawing that you want to zoom into. And it's very simple and very useful. So we're going to shortcut it again. So that's Z, enter, W, enter. That's zoom window. Z, enter, W, enter. And AutoCAD is now expecting you to define a rectangle with 2 clicks. So here we go, one corner and then the other corner. Okay, so 2 clicks to give you the 2 opposite corners of your window. And let's try that again. Z, enter, W, enter, and I'm going to zoom in here. Click, click. There we go. So zoom window is a fantastic way of selecting the area that you want to zoom into. Okay, so have a practice with all of these commands and get used to them and familiar with them, particularly at the keyboard. Let's go through a couple. Zoom extents, Z, enter, E, enter. Zoom previous, Z, enter, P, enter. And zoom window, Z, enter, W, enter. And therefore define the rectangle that zooms you into the area that you want to look at. Okay, and then I'm going to do my zoom extents again to come out. Z, enter, E, enter, so I can see the whole thing. Now the reason I've come all the way out is because I want to show you what real-time zoom looks like. You probably saw on the command, I'm going to do that again, Z, enter. On the command line, the zoom command says, yep, you can do all of this stuff, and at the end it says there's this thing called real time. Now when it's in those little triangular brackets, that means you can have that option just by pressing enter once more. That puts you into real-time zoom, and that means that left mouse click puts you into this lovely smooth zoom, which is actually much more accurate. It's not like using the center wheel on your mouse button, and this is a lot cleaner and easier to use. Okay, so have a little play with zoom real time. Now when you're finished with zoom real time, you need to right click and choose exit to come out. Okay, so have a little go at that. So the shortcut for zoom real time is Z, enter, enter. That puts you straight into real time zoom, and that means you can then practice your real time zoom. Okay, have a little play with that. Now you can access the pan command also whilst you're in your drawing. Let me just zoom away a little bit there. So you can use your pan command, okay, at the keyboard which then produces a left mouse button pan. So if we type in PAN enter, that puts you into the pan command, which allows you to move your drawing around in exactly the same way as using the middle button of your mouse, but it's now a left mouse button operation. And this particular command is not invisible, because if you're issuing a command, then a command at the command line will override anything else that you're doing. Okay, so here we are. We've got pan now with a left mouse button feature, and to exit that you need to right click and choose exit from this little menu here. Okay, so we've got a lot of things that we can do, haven't we? So we've got zooming in and zooming out on the mouse. We've got panning on the mouse. We've got the panning here at the side, and we've got zoom extents at the side that you can practice. We've also got the keyboard commands for zoom, which is Z enter, E enter for extents, Z enter, P enter for previous. Let's do Z enter, P enter for previous. Okay, and zoom window, which is Z enter, W enter. So I can choose an area to zoom into. And then we've got our real-time zoom, which is Z enter, enter, and left mouse click to give yourself this lovely smooth real-time zoom. Okay, to exit, right click and choose exit from that menu. Now if at any time any of your commands get stuck or there seems to be something going wrong, press escape twice on the keyboard. Okay, have a look for your escape button, normally on the left hand top corner of your keyboard. And escape is like a get out of jail free card. So you can use escape to get out of any command that might have gone wrong. And I always press it twice because sometimes commands have two levels. So I get into the habit of just pressing the escape button twice. Okay, so whilst you're here in this drawing, have a little play with the zoom commands, get used to typing it in, get used to those shortcuts, and then you'll be really ready to go. And we can then move on to the next video, which is all about selecting and erasing. So once you've practiced your zooming and your panning, join me in the next video for selecting and erasing.